We're unlocking the Bible. It's day 14, and we're going to look at Isaiah chapter 1 and talk about Judah's rebellion. Now, Isaiah was one of the prophets of God. We call him a major prophet, not because he was better than anyone else, but because his book is longer than most other guys. And it says this at the beginning of the book. He says, "The children I raised," speaking from God, of course, "and cared for have rebelled against me." And I think what you need to understand, and maybe you're picking up on this so far in your reading plan, is that God longed for a relationship with his people. Kind of like a father longs for a relationship with a son as a son gets older. Like, you want it to be functional and good, and God was functional, but his people weren't. He said, "Why do you continue to invite punishment? Must you rebel forever? Your head is injured and your heart is sick." And then he says this, "When you come to me to worship, who asked you to parade through my courts with all your ceremony?" See, apparently what had happened is religion for them had turned institutional. Religion had become a ritual instead of a relationship. And it's easy for that to happen to us, even today. Maybe you've heard the phrase going through the motions. And I think that's what the Israelites were doing. They weren't really pursuing God. They weren't really from the heart worshiping him, but maybe some of them, maybe a lot of them, still did the ritualistic stuff that the Israelites were expected to do, but it wasn't really coming from a deep rooted connection to Yahweh, to God, to the God of Israel. And God had enough of it. And so he said this, "Come now, let's settle this. Though your sins are like scarlet, I will make them as white as snow. Though they're red like crimson, I will make them as white as wool." You're going to notice that this attitude is peppered throughout the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament. And here's what I pull out of this. God had a plan all along to extend forgiveness. Yeah, people keep screwing up. The Israelites did. Today, you do, I do, we all do. We all screw up. Every human being is in need, major need of forgiveness and mercy and grace and second chances. And we see even in the midst of this, and God, the chapter starts off with such disappointment, but then we come to this verse and God says, "Now listen, even though I'm disappointed, I want you to know that I have a plan to solve this. And I'm not going to give up on you. And I'm not going to be, brutal and ruthless toward you. I want to forgive you." And the plan, if you'll read on, has everything to do with the person and work of Jesus.